Okay, we're ready?
Yes, you are all set.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call. Paul St. Armand,
Paul St. Armand, here.
Maureen Buffy,
Here.
Erin Brewster,
Present.
Anna Sumpico,
Here.
and Norma Smith is here. Did I forget anybody? Travis is not here, right? Okay, has everybody read the minutes? And if someone would make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve. The
I'll
minutes.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Opposed? Okay, we're beginning tonight with a guest speaker, Ray Two Hawks Watson, who I've been talking to a few years now about Black Rock and some other areas of the town, and I thought he would explain what he's doing as far as the native history of our area. And some of it's still present here in Coventry, and I would like to see us recognize it and promote it in the future. So I'm going to let Ray talk about what he has in mind so that I can't explain it like he can. So you guys can explain it, understand it better. So Ray, if you want to start.
Sure. So first of all, let me greet everyone appropriately. Wani nakani tampag, askat the squamson, nutuis nisu wishawanag to mashipag na higansit, aquani ka wani mosquito. In the traditional Nahiganset dialects, that's to say, good evening, friends, how are you doing? My name is Two Hawks from the Mashipag Nahiganset people. Good medicine and peace be unto all of you. And I'm very honored and appreciative of the opportunity to share some remarks with you this evening. I do want to give much thanks to Norma. As she mentioned, she and I have had a growing relationship over the past several years. And we've consistently talked about what a great opportunity it could be for local tribes to be partnering with our neighbors in Coventry, because I believe that we both share an interest in trying to find a way to generate economy, preferably through a cultural lens, but in a manner that doesn't denigrate the environment. That's very concerning to local indigenous tribes. And in conversation with Norma, I've come to understand that that is potentially also a grave concern for our family in Coventry. And we've been doing some really interesting things lately that I thought at the very least sharing with you all might be of interest in terms of maybe partnering in the future. So there's three elements that I wanted to talk about tonight. And I was hoping that if I could maybe have access to maybe some sharing capabilities. And I'll move through them very quickly. But the first is cultural tourism through virtual reality and augmented reality mapping. Now, basically what this concept is a lot of, especially younger people, are starting to engage much more through their mobile devices, and now they're moving to glasses and all of these sorts of things. But in this space, you're able to create experiences that are in natural environments, but don't necessarily impact the natural environment. So the best example I can give that most people probably know was the big craze with Pokemon Go a number of years ago. Well, that sort of concept hasn't gone anywhere. People are trying to figure out how to keep people engaging with it in different manners. So we've developed something in a company that I run outside of tribal things called the Providence Cultural Equity Initiative. It was started through an innovation fellowship from the Rhode Island Foundation in 2016. And this is a quick visual. It's called Meshanticut, the Tale of Massasoit. And Meshanticut is the traditional name for the lands that run from about Coventry up to Providence. It means place of many trees. And Massasoit was the traditional name of the area where Providence is, the land between the two rivers. So 1 second. Let me find it here. What's particularly cool about that project is that the individual who developed it has developed it on the actual topography of the greater Providence area, which is where this particular installment of the Meshanticut series is taking place. Let me share one other document that goes along with this, because I believe that pictures speak much louder than words. This is the brochure that we have developed. Let me move over so I can make it bigger. Along with the project. Now, I'll share that we're developing this project in collaboration with Roger Williams University, working with Dr. Brian Hendrickson, who has a number of students who have, over the past year and a half, gotten course credit to help us develop this project. And it's really about kind of contemporizing traditional understandings and knowledges of Indigenous culture and landscapes. So this is from a powwow up a little bit north from here with our Natick Massachusetts tribe. You all may know the Natick Massachusetts as being the tribe that wrote the John Eliot Indian Bible. They're still alive and well today. We have good relationships with them. So we were invited to a powwow up there. My lovely wife, who's a fantastic photographer, took this picture, and that's the front of the brochure. But when we move to the second page, it basically talks about what the gameplay is all about. And I won't run through all of the language, but basically we're asking individuals to take the place of a young warrior who's living in a contemporary time period, 2022, but in this land of Meshanticut, during the King Philip's War, 1675 and 1676, the tribes are triumphant. So it's a different contemporary space, still people from all over the world here in this lovely place. But instead of coming to see the governor, you come to see the grand sachem of whatever particular tribe or territories you're in. Now, because we don't romanticize our indigenous populations, and because they are human beings, it has become a time when there's a lot of infighting, and they've just gotten away from the original teachings that Creator, who our title for is Katantuit, gave them when he first placed them in the lands. So you're challenged with going to different locations throughout the greater Providence area, Massachusetts, engaging with traditional narratives in those spaces and relearning certain virtues so that you can reteach them to the community as a whole and bring them back to what we call the path of Machachuk, or the path of the clear soul. So these are the different locations throughout Greater Providence. The Tale of Massachusetts is the first in the installments. We're looking to do at least 3. The second titled The Fight for Mushasik, which will expand over into the East Bay territories, working with our Pokanoket family. And then we were hoping to do, thirdly, the Soames Chronicles, moving down into the Coventry area, which is why I'm sharing this with you this evening. Because we are doing what they call magical realism, we worked with local artists to develop 9 Wachumchik, or spiritual guardians, that protect certain virtues at each of the 9 locations that we've chosen throughout the greater Providence area. And we have 3 levels of gameplay. One would be an educational form where students from local schools could log into the app on their phone, go take trips to these locations, and then they would interact with these Wachumchik, who would explain to them some of the cultural history and significance of the area, have them do certain tasks that educate them about the land. And really, it would just be a great way to kind of engage youth and individuals looking to be educated in some of the history of the lands there from an indigenous perspective. The second gameplay would have individuals going to locations and actually having to do tasks associated with stories and narratives that are created by traditional indigenous storytellers that we have relationships with. And then the third one, once we expand, will be the war party, where you can choose a tribal faction to be a part of and have some virtual combat and territory fighting back and forth. So we're really excited about those issues. This is just about the project in general. And then what we're looking at this as is a part of an equitable economic development initiative. So really what we're saying is we believe that culture is one of the state's greatest natural resources, particularly when it comes to its indigenous heritage. I had the opportunity to have developed some really, really strong relationships with a lot of individuals out of the London area who are just floored, first of all, that my people still exist. Just for some background on myself, my third and fourth great grandfather was Sachem Brister Michael, who, if you're familiar with the tribe, was one of the 5 council chiefs during the 1881 detribalization. My great grandfather, George Red Fox Watson, was chief of the tribe in 78 when they got federal recognition. But my particular part of the family has primarily been up here in the Providence area. So not so much associated with the tribe down in Charleston, although my mother and grandmother and all of them are on the rolls. So when I bring this sort of work, it's much more than just an opportunity to make a few bucks and do some cultural tourism. To me, it's heritage and it's history of the state of Rhode Island. And I think it's so important that generally more people know about it. And if we can do it in a manner that generates economy, raises the level of awareness, and just promotes more people to engage with this, then for me, I think that that's something to consider. And as I mentioned, the VR and AR mapping is a great way to do it in a manner that doesn't mess with the quality of life of Coventry. Because I'll tell you, being from Providence, I've enjoyed riding through Coventry from time to time. It's not the same environment as the city. And you know what? I don't always want to be in the city. And now that I've engaged from an indigenous perspective, it's like, well, you know what? Now I've got a reason to ride my children down to Coventry. And it doesn't need to change anything. I can pop them down there and just talk about spaces that we're at, like Black Rock, and how much even better if they would be down there and be able to engage through their phone in something that's even more interesting to them. So I just see it as an all-around great opportunity for VR and AR mapping. I got 2 more things, and I'll get through them very quickly because I know you all are busy. We started to have conversation with Norma. We'd be very interested in doing some things around cultural festivals and things of that nature in Coventry. In particular, we're looking at June. Norma shared 2 dates, but for a Strawberry Moon Festival. Traditionally, we did things by the moons every 28 days, and there would be 13 moons in a year, a very regular cycle. And as we understand it, this is very similar to traditional Jewish sort of structures when it comes to time. So a lot of connections there, but according to the moons, we would do things. So in around June, we would plant strawberries. In March, we're getting ready to have here in Providence at the Mashapaug Pond, our planting moon social, because around March, it was time to plant things. And then around when you get to September, October, you have your harvest moon social. So these are things that we could definitely get indigenous members from the indigenous community to come out to. And it would just be a matter of saying to you lovely folks down in Coventry, hey, would you all be interested in partnering around something around this time and making it happen? So that would be that. And then lastly, as I mentioned, the lands, we're very, very interested in them. So if there's ways that we can support preservation efforts down there, efforts to keep lands open for public use, that's really what we're about. When you go back to what the original sort of engagements were, it was really about sharing the lands. It was not about excluding anyone from them. It was about sharing them and making sure that we could all utilize them to the best of our needs. And of course, if the lands are demolished or decimated, you can't utilize them to the best of your needs. So given that there's so much heritage down there, the tribe is very interested in supporting any efforts that the town has around preservation efforts and also sharing efforts that we have in the same regard. So I'll stop my remarks there, but I do want to say once again, thank you for listening to me this evening. And I do have a few more minutes if you have any questions for me. And if not, I'll shut down here and head off to class. But once again, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Raymond.
nice. Very nice.
Sorry, someone tried to call me and I didn't hear the end. Thank you, Ray, for explaining things a lot better than I can.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Is he gone?
Yeah,
Looks like
I don't see him.
Okay, he's gone. Okay. All right. No, I just wanted him to talk to you about some of what I've been talking about. Like I say, he can explain it a lot better than me. So,
Yeah, thank you. That was very nice.
so now we can go on to old business. Everybody ready? Ready.
Yes, ma'am.
At the top of the list is school expenses. As far as I know, the lights are still off at the school. I have tried to get them turned back on, but I keep getting, they want a budget in writing. Well, there isn't one. The only thing the Historical Society was paying was the electric bills. And I've told them, I've given them the bills. They have the account, the town does. They have the account numbers and nothing's happened. The light's still are not on. They want a budget. So what do I write? A one-line budget?
So Norma, hi, it's Ann. So
Yeah.
they want a budget for the entire, whatever the commission's working on, and just to get the lights put back on. We know how much it costs and we have an idea.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
but they want a budget to go along with that. Like to
Well,
put it
the
all
thing
together.
is, what I was gonna try to do is, to me, turning on the lights is not a big deal, but, you know, I made the list of a lot of what we talked about at that town council meeting. There are some short-term things we can do, and then there are some more long-term things. To me, the Reed School to get the lights on, to me, should not be a difficult process. The plexiglass and these other things we've talked about will take time. So do I just write a letter saying, turn on the lights? Or do they want this whole budget before they turn on the lights?
I think it would be better if you're going to present something, or if we're going to present something, to put something down, because I know if they're going to give us money, we should try to spend that money and get these things done. And I think from our end, we seem to want to move. And I think if I can help you in any way to talk to the manager or bring something down with the expenses of the light or anything in the future, we can put something together, and I can head down that way, because we want to move. It's been nearly May will be a whole year. So.
Well, we have 40, a budget. What's that? I heard any feedback, I guess. We have a budget of $4,700. So I've been told. So with that, I would think we could get the plexiglass done, because I know when the Historical Society was looking at it, there was a price that Paul had that was, what was that, $1,200 or $1,500, Paul? Do you remember?
No, it was around $900.
Oh, all right. So we have the
mean,
money.
Obviously,
then
it might have gone up a little since then because of material cost
Probably.
increase. But again, it got where John, I think, is expecting me to give him the specs on it, because they want to complicate it by putting it out to bid. And the problem is
yeah.
the gentleman that I contacted, who I'm friendly with, was doing us a favor. You know, it's not going to be any cheaper wasting the time to put it out to bid. And and I don't have the time to, fool around with that stuff with my busy schedule. So I was trying to make it simple by getting it done. And I don't know if we can do that. We got to go the other route. I will provide them with the information, and John will have to let me know that if that's how we have to proceed. I don't know that we have to proceed that way now that you have the funds in our organization to do it. So you have to advise me.
And we're in the budget, yeah. Are you there, John? I'm sure you're there.
There he is. Yep.
Yeah, so the way that it's been done with any, so for instance, the land trust, anytime we need to get any sort of services, that has to be put out to bid. So it's just as simple as me getting the information. I don't know what I'm asking for. So
Isn't this, I mean, this is such a small thing. Isn't there some cutoff where they don't have to waste the time to do this stuff? It drives me crazy.
It's
No,
my understanding we need to send
that's
it
why
out.
I'd never be a politician, because I'd want to fight with everybody. Anyway, so I'll have to go to Coventry Glass to get the specs on that, because it's not something that I have. I would have to have them give, get that for me for what that specific plexiglass is that they were going to use. And how, and I can provide a picture of how it has to be installed with the channel that holds it in place, top and bottom. But if you're going to be forced to put this out to bid and waste the time doing that, I will go there this week and get that information.
Paul, you said you had at least you had a quote already, so we
Yep.
might have to go out to bid, but for the prioritized list of items we want to present and rough number budgets, I think that a 1 point
Yep.
quote is fine, so that they can get a rough feel for where it's going to land. And then if we're required to go out to bid, then when that project actually comes up, we go out to bid.
Well,
Right, so just so that we can finish prioritizing the list and put a rough number next to everything,
Yep.
so that we can get that over to the council so that we can move forward with turning the lights on. All right.
Yeah, the
and then
$900 number is a good number to carry for your budget, because we know we can get it done for that. So if John, I can get them to write, Coventry Glass can write it as a quote, and then he can put it out to 2 other people and get their pricing on it for it, then move ahead. But as far as you doing your budget and what Erin is saying, I mean, if you use that number, because, and I'm just going to go back to that, the budget thing, from what I've seen that you've sent me and what the town councilwoman has put out there, is she wants us, you, Norma, to provide them with like a table of what we plan to do this year,
Yeah, I understand
with
that.
stuff. So, and I think they want that before they do anything. So, but that's why I like in-person meetings instead of these. So,
No,
you're
I know.
there and we can say, okay, here's how we go about it. But, I don't know how we do it. I don't know enough about that in terms of what and how we get that. Ian, do you have any?
I would definitely put something down on paper. John, I have a question for you. When it goes out for the bid, if that's how the town does it for bids, let's say, is it up to the town to, if we just say, hey, plexiglass, like Paul has said, a quick breakdown, is it up to the town when they go to companies, they can be more specific and they would go look at it exactly to know exactly what they need to do? Would they do it that way, or do they expect a total breakdown? Like, Paul has a friend, but, a lot of us don't have that knowledge.
Right, so whatever you guys need, if this is, a specific breakdown of materials, if the thing is supposed to be installed, I need to know exactly what I'm going to these people for and asking of them, so they can give me an accurate quote. There shouldn't be any guesswork.
Well, they
should be
should
going
go
with
to
them.
the site to do a quote.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I would think they'd have to go to the site to be specific to see exactly what they're getting into. They've
Right.
never seen the building,
I mean, I can provide John with pictures in that, but it should be in there that they need to visit a site visit to look at it, so that they're giving an accurate quote, so that we don't have an issue where someone's lower and then they come to do it and they go, well, I didn't know that I had to do that.
Yeah,
or whatever
that's-
in the situation. So
like, one
Anyway.
of us could meet them there. Whoever, just say what we're interested in. We don't have to, and they can come down and say, okay, I see what you guys want to do. Okay, we'll put our bid in, because you have to be careful with the bidding too. You can't have
No.
favoritism or anything like that. It's got to be,
Yeah.
that I understand.
I'll give John specifics on the stuff. And when I talked to Chris Cafure at Coventry Glass, and you have to understand, Coventry Glass, in my opinion, is the finest and best glass installer in the entire area. There are other people very good too, but it's not like I'm just using them because I know them so well. They've done my work for 40 years. So I think I can say without hesitation that I trust their workmanship completely. So when I ask him for advice on how to, word the thing or whatever to describe it correctly, I will write that up for John, and I'll try and run up there and take a picture of a typical window, so he has it to provide with the info on the plexi. It's just that I saw, you know, as far as the scientific part of it, or, you know, for the specification, I don't know. I need to get that from them. They'll tell me exactly what the makeup of that type of plexiglass is and whatever, so that whoever else is bidding on it is bidding on the same product. And that's what John wants. So I will do that this week. Okay. But
Okay,
that has nothing to do with doing your budget, because again,
I
we
know.
know that, you know, you can carry a number that is saved for that, even if it's 1,000 that you put in there. And you can do that while the other is going out to bid to get the results of that. I think that's what you were suggesting, Aaron. Okay.
Erin?
So I guess, so yeah, exactly. I guess I'm wondering, if we could, I know they want a full prioritized list before we can turn the lights on. I'm wondering if we could word our approach and say, we are evaluating all of the projects we want to, take part in and developing a plan for those, but it is the entire commission agrees that turning the lights on is priority one. Here is the past history of what it's costs monthly for the electric bill, and we're formally requesting them to turn the lights on next month on the 1st or something like that. And then maybe because they know we are working and then we'll give them a due date, like we will come back to you with the rest of the prioritized list in 6 weeks or something. Maybe that would get them to be willing to turn the lights on now. And because as long as, I guess, if we instill confidence that we're working towards a prioritized list, they might stop resisting turning the light switch on.
Yeah, I think we could and we should personally come up with a list, even if it's a rough estimate saying, let's say if we're working on something else from that list, and you can say, well, we know it's going to be at least this amount and put a plus after it. Give them an estimate. But I think if we give them a list, Aaron, I think if we give them a list and the lights first, something, I think it would be in good faith and better. And then we can work on these things. But I think I wouldn't hold it up. I think, no, but do you think we could come up? I mean, I saw the list you did, but maybe we could come up with something.
Well, the short-term things. Reed School, obviously, because we have, you know, the lights need to go on and the plexiglass, that school needs to be finished. You know, it's not finished until the plexiglass is on. Maureen has gotten the state to provide the brown signs, which I'm going to have her talk about. The house plaques, that doesn't need a budget. What we need from the house plaques is knowing we have an account that the money can go in. So what I see as short-term projects are the plexiglass, the first town hall site, you could be some etching on the stone, and the restoration of the town map and the cleaning of the scales in town hall. The town map, we can't do anything till we know what the material is. What is it made of? Is it paper? Is it wood? I really don't know. I've never gotten a close look at it, and I've requested.
Where is it, Norma?
That's the
Where
one
is
that
the
used to
town
be
map?
that's the one that used to be in the old town hall. on the
Right, I know,
wall.
but where did they move it to?
It's in the conference room, I've been told,
Oh,
the manager conference room. And I asked him if I could come and see it, but I don't get any answers from anybody. So I was going to ask you, Ann, if you could stop in and you could request to see it. We can't get a grant until we know what the material is.
You're
You're
Audio
muted.
drop.
Muted.
Who is?
Ann.
Ann is muted.
Or if
Sorry.
we can
okay.
pay for it out of that $4,700, and we need to know what the material is before we can decide where we go for the restoration. And I don't
And
know
I
what it
could meet
is.
you up there someday and look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, because
I've never seen it up close. So I really don't know what the material is, but it should
Yeah.
be hanging in the town council chambers. That's where it should be. And as far as the
again,
scale, they need to
Mhm.
be cleaned and
Mhm.
they're dusty.
okay,
And the sign needs to go back up saying what they are. So I
But-
see those as the short-term things, pink granite and all of
Okay.
that are not short-term projects.
all right.
Yeah. Can I go back to the plaque thing?
Sure.
Doing the plaque program? Isn't there gonna be some cost to that though? Because you'd have to advertise it, or how will we do it? I mean, you can do it on Facebook very successfully, but
Yeah,
wouldn't you
probably.
advertise it as well?
Probably.
Like in the
Probably,
reminder?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think you should count on expending a little bit of money, and I don't know what that is, but
Okay.
on doing a little bit of advertising, do it. And I wanted to
Okay.
suggest one other thing.
Yep.
If and when we get to doing this, I will donate one of my grandfather's Coventry map with everyone who decides to do one of those.
Yay.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Okay,
okay. Because we haven't really decided cost or anything about that yet. I've got some sample applications, but we haven't done anything which we can do at a future meeting. But
Yep.
that's a great thing about the map. That was really would encourage
Well,
people, I think.
gives a little extra incentive for
Right,
people to do
exactly.
it.
Yeah. So how do you want to prioritize this as far as short term? Reed School is first.
Yep.
So what do you want to do next? Do you want to restore the town map?
Yeah, let's go for the map.
Yep.
Okay, because we might be able to pay that out of $4,700. I don't know, depends on what it's going to cost. What else do you want to do next? From this list?
What about the plaque program?
about- The what program?
The
Plaque.
house plaque program.
Yeah. What about the
No.
World War II memorial in front of Town Hall Police Station to be relit?
That's what I was looking on the list. I noticed you didn't have the torch on there.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the very top, it's supposed to be lit. And, you know, these are what I see as the short-term projects.
Yep.
You want to put that on the list?
yeah.
Okay. Anything else for short term? I mean, first town hall site, there's been no writing on it. That can wait. It's not priority. People don't know it's there. These are things, we need a design and we need to have an idea of cost of that so we can decide how we're going to, that will be more than our $4,700. So that is still more of a long-term project.
So
And of
we
course,
can,
Rockaway Bridge is a long-term project, and I'd like to request an RFP on the Trestle Bridge to be painted, and so we can have an idea of cost on that. I mean,
That's a
not that
good
that will
idea.
happen immediately, but that's another, yeah, request an RFP for the trestle. I don't know how we do that, but so if we can do these things and then we can focus on the other more long-term things, as far as cleaning the scales, they can stay dirty for a while. It can be done down the road. I mean, we don't want to do too much at one time, but just getting something accomplished.
Did you
And the
say that
brown
Maureen
signs,
had
Maureen has,
something too?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so what, you know, that necessarily is moving, that kind of is moving forward. She has to, we have to determine the boundaries of the historic places. Right now, we're focusing on the National Registry districts in the town. So Maureen, do you want to talk about the brown signs?
Yeah, sure. There were 4 signs that we applied to the Department of Transportation that has this program where if you have a qualifying property or district, you can get these brown signs, and they're very basic. They just identify In our case, the name of the historic village, and it would be usually they do 2 signs per area on approach from either direction. So they approved our 4 villages. That's South Main Street, Anthony Village, Rice City, and Hopkins Hollow, Roaring Brook. And those were villages that I think during the 1970s and 80s had been nominated to the National Historic Register. So they approved those 4 places. What I wasn't expecting was for them to contact me and say, we need maps so we know exactly where to put the signs. So what I went back, I went to the original nominations for the Historic Register, and not all of the villages had maps. I think probably the most straightforward one is South Main Street. The sign has to go somewhere near the intersection where the bridge is, near Garland Penn. And then on the other end, the sign is going to go somewhere near Wood Street. Some of the other locations aren't so straightforward, and there was no map for Anthony. So what I did was I went to the town's online GIS, and I printed up a map of, I don't know if you probably can't see that. Let me see. So I printed up a map. So I went back to the nomination, and I'm trying to tick off the areas that were approved, and trying to establish. And I'm guessing that the sign is going to be on Washington Street in either direction. But I was surprised, and you might be surprised to hear this, when they define the outer limits of Anthony Village, it actually starts at Batty Avenue, just west of the cemetery.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yes.
I was surprised.
Yes,
I was surprised. I would have put it east of Naughty Oak Road, but it's
Yeah.
actually they actually have it at Batty Avenue. And
So the trestle is in it. The trestle is in it then, right?
yes, yep.
Yeah.
And
Because I would have thought Batty was Washington.
yeah, so they so that is the dividing line, is the western edge of the Woodland Cemetery over
Mhm.
there. And then heading east, this surprised me too. I would have expected it to go all the way to West Warwick, but they had it ending at the next street, which is right after Fairview Avenue, is Hazard Street.
That's Hazard
Right.
Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's still what is it? Reed Avenue is not in it.
I thought
what's
it
the other
was.
one? MacArthur.
Yeah, Quidnick was part of it.
Yeah, no, they established the eastern edge as Hazard Street. And I think Reed and MacArthur are on the other side of that, if I'm not
Mhm. Yeah, it
mistaken.
is.
That
It is,
becomes
yeah.
Quidnick.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I thought
Yeah.
Quidnick's part of this whole, this.
Not, I'd have to look, but I have the old maps from like 1898 of the villages
Yeah.
of these areas of Coventry, Washington, and Anthony. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, I mean, they were all separate in that sense, what they show. I'd have to go back and look at it on the computer again, but I downloaded them quite a while ago. And
well,
I have them in my collection of old map stuff that I have to refer to.
so I guess, so for the purposes of what they've delineated as the historic village district, those are the two ends in Anthony. So,
Yep.
so it's taken me a little more time. I was hoping that I was going to get these maps back to DOT this week, but I had something else going on that I'm still not done with. So, so that's the holdup with that, is I've just got to get the 4 maps to them, and so that they can have an idea of where they're looking to install these signs.
Now,
I told,
is there a cost to this at all? to
no,
us?
no, and unfortunately, I didn't print out for you the, they have the a specification sheet with it. They give some information about the signs themselves. There's very little information, but it's also the kind of sign that you could read when you're driving by 40 miles an hour, whatever road it is. You know, that there's not a lot of fine print information or details. It's just a sign with the name of the historic village.
Okay,
Right.
right.
So maybe somewhere down the road, we could do something like in a walkable area, maybe either in Anthony or on South Main Street, where you could do one of those signs like they put up on Hope Furnace Road in Hope Village, with a little more information, like that kind of thing. But I think for the purposes of something that's on the side of the road that you're just going to be passing by, you need something that's just straightforward. So no, there's no cost to us, and I think as soon as they get the maps, and then they come figure out where they're going to install the sign, and it doesn't cost us anything. But that's what that's hanging on, is me just trying to mark up some kind of a map to give them the information they need.
Okay. Now, do we have to tell the town, or will the state tell the town that the signs are going up?
I actually, I was actually thinking about that. I should let the town know. Now the town manager had initially told me that it was a good idea, but that was months ago, and it probably already forgotten about that. So, so I could tell him that was approved. I was thinking about it too. Maybe I should tell Public Works that this is going to happen. That not that they have to do anything, but I don't know if I need to tell the town council. I don't know who else would need to know, but I'm sure DOT, once we establish roughly like what the delineation is, where the signs are going to go, it's going to be on DOT to pick up safe, secure location for you know, that at least I don't have to think about that.
John, what do you think about, do we have to tell the town, or will DOT tell the town?
I don't think it can ever hurt just to keep people in the loop and just let them know ahead of time. That way they're not surprised by somebody
But it's
from
not like
state
we have,
coming.
it's not like we have to go before council to ask them to do this. We just like inform them this is happening.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's my understanding Maureen's already basically gotten the blessing to go forward with this project.
Mhm.
So I don't believe that it would need any special approval.
Okay.
It's just more of a
Courtesy.
hey, we're at this stage now.
Yep.
Just so you know what
Mhm.
is coming down the pipeline.
Okay, all right. Okay. Any other questions about the brown signs? No. All right, let's go back to our short-term list. Is this what you want to do? I mean, what we've said, I'll try to put something together this weekend. I'll send it out, and you can add to or whatever, or suggest, you know, what
That's a
I'll
good
put
idea.
something together and then I want your input. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Okay,
Yep.
Yeah,
is everybody okay with that?
yeah, Norma, with that too, we can always add in, like Erin was saying too, but also, anything long-term, it's like anything else, you can have a 3 to 5 year goals and objectives. And it kind of shows you, this is what we're trying to do. And if something can't be done, we've tried, and we'll take it off the list. You know, because some things we might never be able to do, but at least if we have those short-term, long-term goals and objectives, it's a running list, and it'll be easier for us and easier for someone to always say, well, look, this is what we've been working on. And this year we did this, we tried to do this. And I'd be glad to help in any way I can with that.
Okay. Right now, I want to focus on the short-term things to try to get something accomplished.
Okay.
And the RFP for the trestle, because that's a long-term project. Arkwright is the Arkwright Bridge we can't ignore. I don't know. I've been trying to contact the person that I've spoken to in the past, but I haven't been able to reach him. He says there's money available what do you call it, feasibility study or whatever to see where it could go. I can try again to contact him, and if I hear from him, I can add it to the list as a long-term project. If that sounds good to you, you people. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you that.
Use people. Let's say.
You people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you people.
Yeah, that sounds good, Norma. That sounds good.
All
I
right,
think-
so.
Again, I agree.
Okay,
For you to make a list and
all right,
let us look at it and add
Yeah.
some notes or whatever of
Yeah.
something that we might think of or whatever, and
yeah, which is
And
great, because
finalize
when a lot of
something.
times I
Yep.
put something together and I need input from somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll see if I can,
Okay,
well,
Erin?
probably won't reach him over the weekend, but, okay, I'm sorry.
I just said,
Okay.
okay, Aaron?
Okay, Erin? Is she
Yeah.
there?
He's there.
Yeah, so I'll just write something up and, we'll go back and
I'm
forth.
nodding
over
my
the
head and giving a thumbs up. I didn't know you couldn't see the picture. Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Now, John, can we do this back and forth, or is that considered open meeting?
You mean amongst each other, back and forth?
Oh, yeah, if
between-
I put something together, I send it to them, they say, put this, put that, take that out, like input. And can we do that? Or is that considered open meeting? Or do I have to do it one by one? I can't do it as a group?
Even in that case, it could be considered what they call a rolling quorum, where,
Yeah.
you talk to one person, they talk to the next, and it kind of is more or less a meeting. So maybe the best option would be to come up with a draft, and you could send that to me or Michelle. We'll send it
Okay.
out to all the members, and then it could be like a workshop
Yeah.
at the next meeting where
Okay.
you'll discuss it, and people have
Okay.
had time to read it and can give their opinions
Okay.
on it at that time. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything that we can, we have to follow the rules,
Mhm.
but I don't want to keep waiting from meeting to meeting to meeting, because time goes on.
Mhm.
So if I can do that, I'll send it to you, and you can, and
Yeah,
you'll send it to them.
right. And
Okay,
but that would have to be something that we send out at the next meeting and dealt with at the next meeting. Otherwise, it would.
but we don't have to wait till the next meeting for me to show them the draft. You'll
Yeah, but-
send them the,
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. It would be
Yeah.
sent out prior to the next meeting, and it would be talked about at the
Okay.
next meeting. So it
Okay.
would be like me just as a go-between talking to
Yep.
you and talking to everybody else. It would have to be dealt with at the next meeting.
John, what constitutes a workshop?
all right,
in
okay,
Your terminology.
okay,
So I was just saying, so she was talking about like getting pointers and stuff on just if there was anything that anybody had an opinion on the letter or whatever, that could be dealt with at the meeting. That's all I was saying.
Right, but when you say have a workshop, does that mean have something in the meantime that you call
No.
like this? That's, no? Okay,
At the meeting, at the next meeting.
yeah,
I
not
get, okay,
yeah.
all right,
not between now and then.
all right. I didn't know if he was suggesting that we have a workshop before
No.
the next meeting or something. But that's why I don't understand all these different regulations and rules and how they're done, so I'm learning.
Okay. All right, so I'll put something together over the weekend and send it out. Oh, no, I won't. I'll send it to John, and he will send it to you. Okay, I'm trying to get this straight. Okay. Okay, all right,
Yes.
Yep.
okay, I got it. Is there anything, anything else? Any other questions about the list?
Yeah, I was taking notes, but I'm just not sure I followed. So the order we're prioritizing is lights on and plexiglass for Reed School.
Yes,
And then it's relighting the torch.
yes.
Number 4 is restoring the map, and number 5 is the brown signs, or is it the house plaques?
Or is the what? Say that last part again.
I have brown signs or house
the
plaques. I'm
house
not
plaque.
sure which one it was.
Well, the way I wrote down, as I told it, was read school, restore the map. Plaque.
Oh, you have the map before the torch?
Yes.
Well, what order do you people, I'm sorry, want this? Read
It's
school is
okay,
first.
Norma. You don't offend us when you say it.
Okay,
You can call me at any time.
okay. So the first is read school. What do you want to do second? I've got restore town map, but I mean, Erin wrote it down
I
differently
don't
than
know.
me.
So I don't know much about the torch that you were mentioning in front of the old police station, but it sounds easy. So it sounds like a quick win that maybe we should make the third thing we do, right? So lights, plexiglass, torch.
Okay, yeah, in front of the old police station is the World War II memorial. And there's a, I don't know what it's made out of, at the top of the big stone is like a torch. That was designed to be lit eternally, like an internal flame. And it's been out for a length of time. So I don't know if it's an easy fix. I really don't know that much about it.
Okay.
In order to get it. Now, that's another issue that we've talked about. There's the possibility that they will sell that building. What will happen to those memorials in front of there? I've heard a lot of things. They were supposed to move to in front of the new police station. They never did. So, you know, we'll just try to get the thing lit right now, but we're going to have to watch that because where will they go if they sell that building? But I don't think it's up for sale yet, but that's another issue. So, all right. So Reed School, the torch, the house plaques next. Well, the brown signs, let's do the brown signs.
Brown
That's gonna
signs
happen.
next, then the house plaques.
Yeah, then the house plaques. Okay, then the RFP for the trestle. How does that sound?
Yeah,
And I'll put Arkwright Bridge because that's going to be even more long-term to see what funding's available for that. Okay. Does that sound good?
that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. So we're all set with that?
Yes.
Okay. New business. I've been asked by Bob Chorney of the Western Rhode Island Civic Historical Society and Payne House. They want to replace or replicate the Washington Fire District sign that used to be on that building. I mean, it was first the town clerk's office, then it was part of the Washington Fire District. They want to replace it or replicate it and put the sign back up. And I told them that I wasn't sure what the rules were about signage in Washington because it's village commercial, which that I never fully understood. But can they do that? I told them
Well,
that
can
I
I,
would
can I
bring it up
interrupt
at the
you
next
for a
meeting.
second?
Yeah.
I did bring the picture to John, and John has that of the sign that will
Yep.
go up, and he was gonna check on that.
So I can share this with everybody. This is the what they're proposing or something similar to this. That is what Paul has given me
Right.
and what they would hope to replicate in their process. So I look at the town map, and when I turn on the overlay for the zoning, it's showing me in that area, Village Main Street Commercial.
Mhm.
And it is also showing me, I'm just going to share my screen here just to show everybody that and we're all on the same page. Let's see. Can everybody see
Yes.
the map right now?
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
So right where my cursor is, that's Station Street. And then this is Holden Street over here. And then this parcel right here in front, that is the building in question.
Right,
So this map is showing me that when I overlay the zoning map, it's showing as its own district, HD. I assume historic district.
historic
That's
district.
Our only historic district.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's treating it as its own zone. So I don't have any regulations concerning signage in that zone. So I'm of the opinion, and I've spoken with Carrie in our office about this too, our zoning clerk. We're of the opinion that there's no specific regulations barring that sign as it's presented to us. So if they want to move forward with that request and get a building permit, then that should have no issues being sent forward and approved. From a
So they
zoning.
So they would go to zoning and file a
Like,
permit.
well, like with any, well, the building department, with any sign, you
building,
need to
yeah.
go and get a
Yeah.
building permit, and then it goes through all the different departments.
Okay.
The building department knows better, but depending on the type of building permit, they route it to different departments,
Okay.
the applicable departments. So typically, planning and zoning is always included on any
Okay.
type of permit, just to make sure that whatever use or
Okay.
sign or whatever is allowed. So
Okay.
yeah, that we would have no problems. Our office would have no problems with the sign as it was presented in that picture. If it's something similar, then there's no issues from our end.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else have any comment on that?
Well, I've talked with Bob Charney about it. That's why when we had
Yeah.
discussed it, I had brought the picture to John so that he would, give an opinion on that. And my thought was, because it is an historic district, that it probably wouldn't be a problem. But the woman that owns the shop across the street had already indicated to me that she would paint that sign to match, the way it looked before for free. So
Oh.
based on that, I offered to have carpenters that do stuff for me make the sign. The only thing they would provide, so that everybody's doing something, is the materials for the sign. Once I found out what the best materials were, and then that way it would get done. So
Okay. Okay, very good. All right, anything else? And as far as that, the Merck building or fire dispatch? And now we can go to public comment. Is there anybody that is there, John, for public comment?
Yes, right now I have Larry Manier. He's raising his hand, and I'll bring him
Yep.
in right now.
Okay,
Hi, Larry, if you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
yes,
Oh, good. John, can I share my screen?
Let me see. You don't have the ability right now?
I don't see it. Not,
There's no green box at the towards the
not
bottom.
down
of
at the
screen
bottom.
to share.
No,
So
Oops.
let me see. So unfortunately, it looks like because you're not a panelist, that on my end, I don't have the opportunity to give you sharing capabilities.
huh. Normally when you claim host, that gives you the option of making that. Anyway, what I was going to show you, but I can just tell you, because you were just discussing this, as you know, I'm working on mapping all the historic districts and properties. And as we talked at the last time I met, you all mentioned that it would be really great to be able to display pictures and documents and so forth with each property. So working with Lynn Carlson, the new appointee to the Conservation Commission, and also my GIS colleague who lives in Coventry. She has put up an interactive online database into which we have loaded the historic properties and districts work that I've done so far. And in the preparation of doing that, the districts, in our districts, especially the four you're interested in, the actual district boundaries are specified using parcel numbers. So I have digitized or drawn all of the actual district boundaries based upon parcel boundaries for those four districts. That's what I was going to show you, but I could send you a map of each of those based upon parcel boundaries, which gives you the exact definition of the districts. But anyway, so I have been talking with Norman about doing a demonstration of our new facility, which we will, I guess, do in the next meeting. Is that right, Norma?
Yes, in March, yes.
March. So we have the ability for you to click on any property and display the National Register nomination if there is one, the whole PDF, display any other documents related to it, display any number of pictures relating to it. And also, I was not aware of this, but Lynn pointed out that we have statewide LiDAR data, which is elevation data in Rhode Island, and she knows how to manipulate it. And so this would be particularly interesting to the land trust people. She's actually done a demonstration for one of the parcels they're considering putting trails on, so you can actually see basically a relief map of a particular parcel and so forth. So I don't know if that'll be useful to the historic people, but land trust and others might be. So anyway, we hope to make this available for you to start using. And we'll give you our idea in March when we demo it is to get your feedback. Is this what you need? What else do you need, or how should it look? I've put in the 158 properties in the 1978 historic districts historic survey from Rhode Island historical RIH, historic preservation, I guess they go by, RIHP. And then I got a couple of days ago, I should have done this a while back, but a couple of days ago, Jeff Hermity gave me the complete database of state register and national register records, an extract of that database, which you can see on their website, but there's no way to get the whole thing. So he sent me an extract of it. And I found that 38 of those are in the survey, but the survey goes well beyond the 355 that the state has in the state and national registers. So I'm in the process of adding those in, which will give us 548 properties. And then we're also adding a list or on the map 778 properties that were built according to the parcel database prior to 1900. So they're over 120 years old. There's 778 of those. So altogether, there would be 1,326 properties that might either are on the register now or might be considered in the future that you'll be able to display interactively and so forth. We also digitized very quickly the comprehensive plan archaeology map. We're not sure where that came from or whether it's valid or anything, but it's a bunch of squares showing probable archaeological areas. So that'll be on your list of layers as well. So that's where we're going. So we look forward to demoing it in March.
That's exciting. Thank you.
Yep, thank you,
Great.
Larry.
Good.
Yeah. And that will help Maureen, I think, determine where the signs would go.
Yeah. Shall I, you want me to send those maps to John? He can
Yes,
send them
please.
up real quick,
Yes,
'cause I
yes.
don't have your emails.
Yep, no,
Okay.
that would be great. Thank you.
Larry,
Great.
can you send a topographical one to him too?
Sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there anyone else out there for public comment? John?
There is, it looks like Sandy is listening in. I don't know if she wants to say anything. Sandy, if you want to speak, you can raise your hand. I guess not.
Oh,
So
no comment?
That's
Okay.
all.
All right, if there isn't anything else, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second that.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no opposed. So the meeting is adjourned at 7:09 by my computer. Okay,
Okay.
Righty. Thank you, Norma.
yep, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.